Imagine a floating city, a steel fortress the length of 3 football fields, carrying over 5,000 personnel, dozens of the most advanced aircraft ever built, and enough firepower to reshape the balance of power in any ocean on Earth. This is not science fiction. This is a United States Navy aircraft carrier, and today, Naval Air Dispatch takes you inside the machine that has defined American military dominance for over 80 years. From its nuclear heart to the chaos of its flight deck, we are breaking down exactly how it works, layer by layer. Welcome to Naval Air Dispatch. Let's start with the basics, and nothing about this ship is basic. The most advanced carriers in the U.S. fleet today belong to the Gerald R. Ford class. The lead ship, USS Gerald R. Ford, stretches 1,100 feet from bow to stern. It displaces over 100,000 tons of water when fully loaded. To put that in perspective, the Titanic displaced roughly 52,000 tons. Gerald R. Ford is nearly twice that. But sheer size is only the beginning. Beneath the waterline, 2 nuclear reactors power the entire ship. These reactors do not require refueling for 25 years, meaning this carrier can sail anywhere on Earth at any time for a quarter century without ever stopping for fuel. It is, by design, an instrument of permanent presence. The ship travels at speeds exceeding 30 knots, roughly 35 miles per hour. For a vessel this size, that is extraordinary. Most container ships cruise at half that speed. Inside, the carrier is divided into over 4,000 compartments. There are medical facilities capable of performing surgery, dental clinics, a post office, multiple gyms, a television studio, a legal office, a chapel. This is not just a warship. It is a self-sustaining sovereign platform, a floating piece of American territory that answers to no foreign port. Now let's go topside, to what many naval aviators call the most dangerous workplace on the planet. The flight deck of a U.S. supercarrier spans 4.5 acres. On a busy day, it handles over 150 aircraft sorties, launches and recoveries happening in rapid, overlapping sequences around the clock in any weather. Every person on that deck has a role, and you can read their role by the color of their vest. Yellow vests are aircraft handling officers. They direct every movement of aircraft on deck. Blue vests handle the actual moving and spotting of jets. Green vests manage the catapults and arresting gear. Red vests handle weapons and ordnance. Purple vests, nicknamed grapes, fuel the aircraft. Brown vests are plane captains, responsible for the readiness of each specific jet. And white vests are safety officers and medical personnel, watching everything. This color-coded system allows hundreds of people to work in close proximity, in extreme noise and wind, with absolute clarity of role. One mistake on this deck can be fatal, and yet, the system runs with the precision of a Swiss watch because it has to. Here is where the physics becomes almost unbelievable. To launch a fully loaded F/A-18 Super Hornet, weighing up to 30,000 pounds, from 0 to 160 miles per hour in approximately 2 seconds, the carrier uses an electromagnetic aircraft launch system, known as EMALS on the Ford class, or a steam catapult on older Nimitz-class carriers. The electromagnetic system uses a linear induction motor to accelerate a launch carriage down a 300-foot track. The energy required for a single launch is roughly equivalent to powering an average American home for 6 months. The pilot feels a force of 3 to 4 Gs during the launch, meaning their body briefly weighs 3 to 4 times its normal weight in those 2 seconds. The experience, according to pilots who have endured it, is unlike anything else in aviation. Within moments, a 30,000-pound aircraft that was sitting still on deck is now airborne, climbing, and ready for combat. day or night, in calm seas or in storms. The Catapult does not stop. Launching is extraordinary, but landing is arguably harder. Returning aircraft must approach the carrier's stern at precisely the right angle, speed, and altitude. The landing area is angled at about 9 degrees off the ship's centerline. This design, introduced in the 1950s, allows a pilot who misses the wires to go to full power and fly off without crashing into parked aircraft. That maneuver is called a bolter, and every carrier pilot trains for it constantly. If the approach is correct, the jet's tailhook catches one of 4 arresting wires stretched across the deck. These wires are engineered to absorb the enormous energy of a 20-plus-ton aircraft traveling at over 150 miles per hour and bring it to a complete stop in under 3 seconds. The deceleration force on the pilot during a successful trap, as arrestments are called, is approximately 4 Gs. Every landing is a controlled collision. At night, in poor visibility, on a moving ship in the middle of the ocean, this process repeats every 60 seconds during peak flight operations. It is, without question, one of the most demanding feats of skill and nerve in all of aviation. A carrier without aircraft is just a very large ship. What makes it a weapon of unmatched reach is the carrier air wing embarked aboard it. A standard air wing consists of roughly 60 to 70 aircraft. This typically includes 3 or 4 squadrons of F divided by a -18E and F Super Hornets for strike and air superiority. An electronic attack squadron flying EA-18G Growlers, aircraft specifically designed to destroy enemy radar and communication systems. A carrier airborne early warning squadron operating the E-2D Advanced Hawkeye, the carrier's aerial radar station, capable of tracking hundreds of targets simultaneously from 50,000 feet. Helicopter squadrons for anti-submarine warfare, search and rescue, and logistics. And increasingly, F-35C Lightning II stealth fighters, adding 5th-generation capability to the air wing. Together, this air wing gives a single carrier the combat power of most nations' entire air forces. It can conduct deep strike missions against hardened targets hundreds of miles inland, establish air superiority over contested airspace, hunt submarines beneath the surface, and provide intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance across a vast operational area simultaneously. A U.S. aircraft carrier is not a single weapon. It is a system of systems, an integrated machine of extraordinary complexity, operated by thousands of trained professionals, built around one core purpose: to project American power to any point on the globe at any time with overwhelming force. 11 of these ships are currently in service. At any given moment, at least 3 or 4 are deployed somewhere in the world, in the Pacific, the Mediterranean, the Persian Gulf, or the Indian Ocean. They do not need permission to enter any international waters. They do not need a forward base. They carry everything they need. And that is precisely why, for over 80 years, the aircraft carrier has remained the centerpiece of American military strategy and the most visible symbol of naval dominance on Earth. This has been Naval Air Dispatch. If you want to understand the machines and strategies that define sea and air power, subscribe, because we are just getting started.